Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. Today I have a very special video for you. I'm going to be rating content creators FPL drafts. Now if this sounds good to you, do me a favor, drop a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Let's get straight into it. The first team we're going to look at is FPL Focal's team. An excellent FPL manager and an outstanding content creator. So it's only right we start with him. He's starting with a 3-5-2. In goal he's got Sanchez. And then in defence, he's got Saliba, Aina, and Gabriel. So the double Arsenal defence. The midfield five is Saka, Rodgers, Palmer, Enzo, and Sarr. And up top, he's gone for Haaland and Larson. On the bench, he's got Darlow, Matson, Estev, and Krupi. Now we're going to get straight into rating this team here. And this is the scoring system we're going to use. We've got premiums, penalty takers, balance, bench, minute risk, and overall. So let's first start with the premiums. I've given him 3 stars, and I'll tell you why. Even though he's got Saka, Palmer, and Haaland, which is an excellent 3 premiums, without Mohamed Salah, I found it difficult to give him an extra star there. The reason is, no player is ever essential in FPL. We know this. But he's probably the closest player possible to being essential. I mean, he's the best FPL asset we've ever had, playing for one of the best teams in the Premier League, who look like they've got stronger with the signings they're making and still could get even more stronger. Let's just say this, I'll be amazed if Oscar does start the season without Mohamed Salah. But for me, I'm going to give him a 3 star just because of that. But to be honest, the 3 premiums he has are incredible. Loads will be going against Mohamed Salah with someone like a Haaland, who's someone that could easily score 30, 40 goals a season. Next up is the penalty takers, and I've given Focal 3.5 stars. He currently has Saka, Palmer, Haaland. That's guaranteed 3 penalty takers. And Larson probably is going to be the 4th. Although I'm not sure if Chan's on the pitch, does that change? That's something I'm not 100% sure about. For balance, I've gone pretty big. I've given Focal 4.5 stars. And the reason for this is every position looks like it's evenly balanced. And what I mean by that is, for example, the defense doesn't have just pure bargain basement players there with no expensive players. Midfield has a combination of premiums and mid-range players. Up top has a premium and a mid-range player. So in some teams you will see maybe all the defenders are 4.0, 4.5 to enable an expensive midfield or an expensive strike force. Here, I like Focal's team. It's nice. Maybe half a star too much if you consider how expensive that defense is. I don't know. I mean, you get in the comments to let me know. Clearly here, Focal is looking at this new defensive bonus scoring system that's going to happen. You could tell by 2 centre-backs. Normally we attack the full-backs. You would expect to see a Kirkes or a Frimpong or a Aït-Nouri. Nope. He's gone for players who can keep clean sheets, score goals from potential set plays, but also click up those defensive contributions. For the bench, I've given him 3 star. It's not horrible. Could be better. Normally you like 2 solid players on your defense. So what I mean by solid, not players that are explosive and get you loads of points. You just want players, hopefully, that get enough minutes, because you never know at the start of the season, a random injury or a new manager changes a player that we assume is 100% locked in. That could easily change. So here, 3 stars, I think, is just about right when you look at this bench. Minutes risks, I've gone for 3.5 stars. This could have easily been more if it wasn't for the bench, because I think the starting 11 is as locked as you can get. I'm looking at it now and I can't see any player in that team that would actually be a doubt for the start of the season. So overall, I'm going to give Focal 3.5 stars. This would have been 4, maybe 4.5 stars if Mohamed Salah was in the team. Just for that, I had to bring a star down. I couldn't allow it. No Mohamed Salah to start the season against Bournemouth at Anfield. Get in the comments and let me know if you agree or disagree with the scoring. FPL Mate, another outstanding content creator. If you haven't seen his stuff, I highly recommend it. Just get on YouTube, type that in and you're going to see outstanding FPL content. He's gone for a 3-4-3 with Kelleher in goal. I immediately like Kelleher. I've seen him quite a lot at Liverpool. Every time he got the opportunity to play when Alisson was injured, he performed. Brentford done miracles to bring him in. In defence, he's got Virgil van Dijk, Tarkowski and Wan-Bissaka. 4 midfielders, Saka, Mohamed Salah, Kudos and Enzo. And the 3 up front is Watkins, Wissa and Welbeck. On the bench is Petrovic, Anderson, Richards and Goodmanson. The team sounds good, but how does it fare with the scoring? Let's get straight into it. Let's start with premiums. I've gone for 3 stars here. And the reason for that is he's only got the 2 premiums, Saka and Mohamed Salah. Watkins coming in close to being a premium. I've not really included him, but still, it's a nice pick if you're spreading the money. No Palmer would almost mean you have to have either a Haaland or a Watkins in this team, or maybe an Isaac. Penalty takers, he gets 4 stars, scores very well. And the reason for that is Saka, Salah, Watkins, Wissa and Welbeck. That's 5 penalty takers. He's increasing the penalty probabilities, definitely. Every weekend, you're surely going to get one of your players is bound to get a penalty when you've got this many in your team. Balance, again, I've gone pretty big here, 4.5 stars. Reason for that is, similar to Focals, every position has got at least sort of a premium player in there. So in defense, he's got Virgil van Dijk. In midfield, he's got Saka and Salah. Up top, he's got Watkins. Every position, he's got a powerhouse in there, accompanied by a medium or a cheaper asset. So it's not too bad, nicely balanced. The bench, he also scores pretty good as well, 3.5. And the reason for that is Anderson's an outstanding first sub to have. Again, Anderson's one of those players that are going to become popular this season because of this defensive contribution new scoring system. He's a player, when we looked at last season's data, done really well. So he's going to be very popular to be the 5th midfielder this season. And he's got Richards, a Palace defender, which of course, he's got good minutes, playing for a good team. So that's got 2 solid defenders, hence for the decent scoring there. For minute risks, again, I've gone 3.5 stars here. The team looks solid. I mean, the starting 11, you could argue kudos. Is he going to be a 90-minute player, the new super signing for Spurs, who Frank has bought in? Or is he going to be a 65th minute player, 70th minute player that gets rotated as Spurs still have a lot of quality in those positions? Overall rating, I've gone for 3 stars. Now, let me explain that, because the team does look like it should score more. Let me explain why I've gone 3 stars. First and foremost, regarding the premiums, I love Chelsea's fixtures. I know he's gone for Enzo, but I would prefer Palmer. Palmer, you saw in the Club World Championship, and with these opening fixtures, you'd like to think he's going to hit the ground running. Maybe the confidence is back up, because I know the second half of last season, he put us off. I mean, me included. But surely to go without him at the start of this season does seem a little bit risky. Second reason is potentially kudos. I know we're getting excited. The new manager just brought him into Spurs, so you'd like to think he's going to play him, but I'm not 100% sure of his minutes. Is he going to be a 70, 75 minute player? I'm not sure. It's an unknown, okay? And lastly, he's fully gone into this defensive contribution scoring system with regards to defenders. Not one juicy fullback from a premium team, like a Frimpong or an 8 Nori, not one. I'm quite surprised by that. The only attacking fullback he's got there is Wan-Bissaka, who plays for West Ham, and the other 2 expensive defenders are both centre-backs. Or is that a problem? Maybe this is how we should all be playing this upcoming season. Pack our teams with centre-backs who play 90 minutes and should click up those defensive contribution points. Anyway, I'm going to stick to the 3-star overall. Get in the comments and let me know what you think. Next up is FPL Pricey, another excellent FPL manager, and also creating some outstanding content. If you get a chance, check him out. He's gone for a 3-5-2. Let's get straight into his team. Sanchez in goal, Virgil van Dijk, Milenkovic, Vardiol. Starting to see a pattern here. Virgil van Dijk becoming quite popular, isn't he? In midfield, Mohamed Salah, Rodgers, Palmer, Ndiaye, and Eza. And up top, Solanke and Strand Larsen. On the bench, we've got Kingsley, Gehi, Estev, and Kropi. The team sounds good, but let's see how it fares in the scoring. Let's start with the premiums, and I've given him a 2.5 star. Harsh, straight in with a harsh score here. And the reason for that is, he's got Mohamed Salah and Palmer. Now, normally when you have only 2 premiums like that, no Saka, you'd expect to see either a Watkins or a Isaac or a Haaland. Here, he's got none of them. Now, again, of course, there's no right and wrong. The game's not even out yet. But I'm just judging it on this scoring system here, which I've put together. And I do think you'd expect to see, as I said, either a Watkins, Isaac, or a Haaland if you're only getting those 2 premiums in midfield. Penalty takers, though, he does very well. 4 stars here. And the reason for that is Salah, Palmer, Ndiaye, and Solanke, and potentially Larsen. So he's clicking up a lot there. Again, the probabilities on his side. Every weekend, who knows? One jammy penalty there. For balance, I've gone 3.5 stars. Reason for this is, I think the defense, it's got quite a lot of money in there. Top heavy, especially when you look that he's only got 2 premiums and he hasn't even got a super expensive forward. So you start to think, where's that money being spent? On the bench, again, I've given Pricey 3.5 stars. And the reason for that is Gehi's an outstanding sub. Regardless if he ends up at Newcastle, Liverpool, or stays at Palace, top bracket defender, and will play 90 minutes the majority of games. I mean, unless he's injured. Estev and Krupe are becoming very popular, cheap defensive cover. It remains to be seen whether they're actually going to get the minutes. If that is the case, we will see them in a lot of teams come game week 1. For minute risks, I've gone super strong here, 4.5 stars. And the reason for that is, have a look at the starting 11. Can you see any minute risk players anywhere? I'm really struggling. All of these players are almost pivotal to the teams they play for. Maybe if you're really pushing it, Larson and Ndai could be coming off around the 80th minute, maybe. But to be honest, I'm stretching it there. These are solid picks. And on the bench, it's not too bad either. So I do think Sam has nailed it here with the minutes risk. He's being cautious here. He hasn't gone for any players that could be exciting, but you don't know. Might play 50 minutes or you don't even see him, like an Nkuku from last season. Overall, I've gone for 3.5 stars. And I think he was close to being 4, maybe even 4.5 stars. The reason I say was close, I think if you only got the 2 premiums, Mohamed Salah and Palmer, I'd like to see a Watkins or maybe an Isaac, maybe even a Haaland in that team, instead of having the super expensive centre-backs. Now, for this to pay off and to be justified, this defensive contributions really needs to pay off here. It really does, because he's gone pretty big with Milenkovic, Virgil and Vardiol. Super big, all outstanding, all play for excellent defensive teams. Is that money spent there really going to materialize more than money spent up top? Next up, we've got Andy, Let's Talk FPL, the man who needs no introduction. He's practically FPL Hollywood. Let's have a look at his team though. Let's see if it's any good. He's gone for a 4-3-3, and let's start with his goalkeeper, Sanchez. Again, becoming a very popular pick in goal. Covering the Chelsea defense for maybe people that don't want to spend a bit more on their defenders. The back four consists of Virgil van Dijk, Tarkowski, Murillo, Udegi. Defensive contributions. Yeah, we can see it now. We've seen all the top managers now 100% considering it. They've crunched the numbers. They've seen, using last season's data, these centre-backs would have clipped up a lot more points. All of a sudden, the fullbacks are not really here. And the one fullback we have here is Udegi. We're not even 100% sure if he's going to be starting for Spurs this season. Midfield, he's gone for Palmer, Salah and Rodgers. And up top, he's gone for Solanke, Larson and Welbeck. Kingsley, again, another name popping up. And the reason for that is there's murmurs going around that Thomas Frank isn't 100% sure who's going to be the #1 goalkeeper at Spurs, which means he could be in there with a shout, which will make him a super bargain. People are picking him as the second choice just in case he does become an option and all of a sudden you've got rotating goalkeepers. Semenyo's an interesting one. I didn't expect to see him in many people's teams. Not because I don't rate him, because he was outstanding last season. I should have got a lot more points. If he wasn't as rash in front of goal, he would have clicked up a lot more points. It's mainly because it looks like Bournemouth have been decimated with a lot of outgoings. Teams have come in and bought their players. So I was just thinking we might be a bit sceptical. And their starting fixture game week 1 is a bit grim. But in Andy's case here, hence why he's on the bench. Lacroix, outstanding second sub. And lastly, Christie. So the bench is looking pretty good. The team on paper is looking good. But let's see how it does in the scoring. And let's start with the premiums. And unfortunately, Andy started with 2.5 stars. Bit of a grim start here. And here's the reason. Similar to what I said earlier on. He's got Mohamed Salah and Palmer, 2 elite premiums. But if you only got those 2 in your team, I looked around to see, is there a Watkins? Is there an Isaac? Maybe even a Haaland? Or maybe a Saka? No. Now, I'm not saying to you the meta has to be 2 premiums. Not at all. Because it could turn out to be these expensive defenders outscore the midfielders or the forwards I just suggested. But for now, using this scoring system, I think this is a bit weaker. I think we could have fitted in one more heavy hitter in this team. I mean, please get in the comments and let me know if you agree with that or you disagree. Penalty takers is a place where Andy does score very well. 4 stars. And the reason is you could see there's probably 5 penalty takers in his team. Palmer, Salah, Solanke, Larson and Welbeck. The balance, I've gone really strong here. I've gone 4.5 stars. It would have been 4 stars because I said earlier on, maybe there should be one more heavy hitter up top. But then I look at his bench. The first 2 subs are ridiculous. So he's got the versatility. He can mix and match realistically. Semenyo's a player. When the fixture's good, you can actually start him. So he's gone for a player he can rotate with. Where a lot of us just hope for our starting 11 to start week in, week out. And it's an emergency if our sub actually comes on. Where this play here looks like Andy can mix and match. When he sees a good fixture for Semenyo to target, he can come in and Rodgers could possibly go on the bench if he's got a tricky fixture. Or someone like Larson, if Wolves have got a difficult fixture, he can go on the bench. The bench, which I just spoke about now, is 3.5 stars for all of those reasons. Really, really solid. 2 outstanding subs to come on. Players that you could actually play. Normally, when you look at teams, especially I do it as a manager, most of my money goes into my starting 11. My first sub, I try my best to make him a playable sub. After that, I'm in the realms of please, no, don't let them come on. That's where I'm at with my substitution. So in this case here, this is a strong bench. Minute risks, he scores well again, 4 stars. And the reason for that is, look through this team. Where are the weaknesses? Potentially Udegi. He's the one I've been reading about that might not be 100% locked in. New manager, potentially new system. We know under Ange, he played in a very strange attacking system where he inverted in at times and took up some very strange positions. We know for a fact he will not be doing that under Thomas Frank. Overall, I've gone for 4 stars. I really like this team. It's a strong balance. In fact, I can't find many weaknesses. Even his bench is super strong. Maybe Udegi is the only one that stopped it from being a 4.5 or maybe even a 5-star team. Get in the comments and let me know what you think about this team. And lastly, we have FPL Harry. If you play FPL and you watch FPL content, you've probably seen him. So he doesn't need an introduction, but I will say he's probably one of the best FPL managers out there. So running through his team, he's playing a 3-4-3, starting with Sanchez in goal. Is that his Chelsea bias or no? We are seeing other managers pick Sanchez, so probably not. In defense, it's Vardio, Wan-Bissaka and De Kuyper. Midfield 4 consists of Palmer, Salah, and the new Liverpool signing, Wirtz and Ndai. And the 3 up front is Solanke, Watkins and Welbeck. The subs bench is Kingsley, Konsa, Sirkin and Dubry. I have to say, this team does look good. But let's see how it does in the scoring first. I'm going to start with premiums, and he hasn't had the best start. I've gone 3 stars. Maybe I should have been 3.5 stars. And the reason for this is he's got Palmer and Salah, yeah, huge ticks. I think they're 2 outstanding premiums. Instead of getting the 3rd one, he has managed to squeeze in 2 big hitters though. So that's the reason maybe I should have been 3.5 stars. Watkins and Wirtz. Outstanding. Watkins one though, is he going to remain at Villa? Does he become a worse asset if he joins Manchester United, which is some of the rumours I'm seeing? Wirtz is just an outstanding player and a player I really, really like, and he's coming at an excellent price point, 8.5 million. So I can see why Harry's fitted him into his team. Having said all of that, I'm going to stick with 3 stars. Let's talk penalty takers, and this is where Harry clicks up the points. 5 stars. Just have a look. Palmer, Salah, Ndai, Solanke, Watkins and Welbeck as 6 penalty takers. Maybe this is one of the secrets to elite FPL managers. Pack your team full of penalty takers. I've gone 4 stars in the balance, and the reason for that is just look through the team. So in defense, you've got 2 cheap defenders, but then you've got 1 expensive defender in Vardio. In midfield, you've got 2 premiums and a heavy hitter, joined by a cheap player who actually takes penalties. And then up front, you've got a heavy hitter in Watkins, joined by 2 excellent players in Welbeck and Solanke. So the team is balanced well. The bench, I've only gone 3 stars, although he has the super Mr. Consistent, steady Eddie himself, Konsa. I thought he would be very popular. I'm surprised. I think it's the only team we've reviewed today that has him. But the rest of the bench is just about okay. You're not going to really want them to come on. Unlike some of the other managers who had 2 subs that could actually come on and you could rotate with. For minute risk players, I've gone 4 stars. Clearly, Harry has thought about this. He's not a manager that's going to go into the season with 2 or 3 players that are risky, potentially might not start or be just 60-minute players. No chance. So the majority of this team looks solid and locked in for good quality minutes. I'm saying 80-minute plus. So overall, I'm going to give Harry 4 stars. I really like this team. I like the structure, the setup of it. For example, Mohamed Salah and Palmer, they're my 2 favorite premiums if I look at the upcoming fixtures. So that is a big tick there. Second, he's got Wirtz, which you could argue will be a premium player next season. He only costs 8.5 million, but when you see the quality, and if he has the season I'm predicting, he could be a bargain this season. And finally, Watkins up front, outstanding player, a serial goal scorer, especially if he stays at Aston Villa. But more importantly, what do you think of this team? Get in the comments and let me know. Now, this is the opportunity for you to jump in the comments and rate each of these teams. Tell me which one's your favorite, and tell me the one that you like the least. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe and share the video. But also get in the comments and let me know the next batch of content creators drafts you want me to review.